Thank you, Aurelia Santoro and Dr. Comte. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank Professor Claudio Franceschi for this, for inviting me to present the DOREMI project. And I will highlight some connection and some synergism with New Age, walking through New Age diet and crossing smart devices that are the clue of my project, ICT project, DOREMI, within the European research. DOREMI is an acronym that means decrease of cognitive decline, malnutrition, and sedentariness by elderly empowerment in lifestyle management and social inclusion. It started at the end of 2013, and the end of this project is expected in October of this year. So we are in the last year of the project. We don't have yet final results. I will show the project and potentiality for this ICT project. We are this morning on frailty, and we must admit that the definition of frailty and its stratification is very, very complicated. And we always face this point when we need to find the correlation between some marker or some key point indicators that we want to use and frailty. So this is one point that really needs to be fixed. But we know that besides physiological aging and comorbidity, there are other conditions, other impairments like cognitive decline, malnutrition, and sedentariness that play an important role in frailty and in the transition from pre-frail to frail condition, because if they are together, they create a vicious and a very, very perverse link that increase the possibility of frail condition in older people. In our study, we are dealing with this population, and we select actually by specific criteria people, older people from 65 to 80 years old that had at least two of these conditions: mild cognitive decline, malnutrition, in excess or in defect, and sedentariness. The first aim of DOREMI was to find a monitoring capability for these three impairments, okay? And we study sedentariness with monitoring physical activity. I will show you the tools that we use during the trial and before the trial, because we have an extensive activity in a living lab. We also monitoring unhealthy dietary habit by developing a dietary app that was applied during the study in order to have a daily diary, photographic diary of the diet habit of our older people. And finally, we monitoring cognitive function not only with the classical test to assess cognitive decline, but also giving a serious game, cognitive game that are able to stimulate the subject, and from the response we can infer on impairment of cognitive function at different level with these games. To do that, we developed tools, ICT solution that we are going to use, we are using in the trial, and we are going to use in a future trial that will carry out also in Italy. Sedentariness, you can see here what we have. We have a bracelet that was fully developed into our project for localization of subject, for movement steps that they do, but mainly for a correct monitoring of heart rate during physical activity. So we can have, with a very high sample size, temporal size, the information of heart rate. We develop a smart balance board that allow weighing patient subject every day, but also we develop an algorithm where on the balance we could assess also balance of the subject and have information on stability of our older people. And finally, we develop an exer game to have a virtual companion that every day accompanies our older people in exercising themselves. As far as monitoring capability, we prepare an app, and I will show you on diet. And we try also by a remote counseling to correct unhealthy dietary habits, addressing the diet to a new food parameter for over 65 European citizens. And finally, we assess cognitive function, and by cognitive games, we also stimulate subjects to increase cognitive capability. Of course, we try to put together the people that was involved in trial in order to participate and join this solution all together, and this, we think, will increase the social inclusion. This is basically the DOREMI environment. You see enough complex, and we took 2 years to organize all this stuff and to put this environment into the apartment of the subject that participate to the trial. It was really, really complicated to be less obtrusive that we could do with a lot of things, like you can see here, peers, beacons, the balance board, tablet, the wristband with a smartphone, in order to monitoring the subject not only indoor but also outdoor. All these signals go to a DOREMI gateway into the house and then go out to the middleware that allow to put together different signals coming from different softwares, okay, and allow them to talk together and to understand what happens. Okay? From the middleware, the signals go to a server, remote server in Vienna and in Pisa, collecting data, storing the data, and analyzing the data too. These information are presented in a dashboard that go directly to the expert, nutritionists, cardiologists, geriatrics, in order to see what happens in the house and give a feedback to this to our subject. So there is a loop between the end user and the specialists that allow a continuous interaction among these figures. And I want to show you very briefly, I apologize so short that I don't know if I can follow the movie by my talk, on the DOREMI game environment, because we need to engage these people if we want to change habits, diet and physical activity, as well as using the brain during the daily life. And we use game environments, so gamification, in order to try to modify the habits of this subject. So you see here a virtual companion that is a small dog in 4 different areas. The first one is cognitive. The user clicking on the cognitive area, and there are games that are covering different field of cognitive function in order to explore the capability of the subject. You see, these activate memory, attention, praxis, and other functions that the brain is able to do. And there are different levels of difficulties that can be changed according to the response and the rapidity and the ability of this user to do that. Then we click the exer game, and 21 exercises designed in DOREMI by my institute, by myself also, and to tailor older people physical activity are included in this exer game. The total duration of the exer game is ½ hour. Then we have a metadata app that was in part developed during the project. There is a diary of the meal, a food category that we can choose. From these photos, we can choose the portion. From the portion, we can have information and details on composition of the food. If the user prepared the diet for all the day, you see here that at the end of the day, we have the full diary, and we can send this diary to the expert for the evaluation and the feedback. And you have the total daily calorie measured with this system. Okay, so I don't think that this is the perfect system to do that, but probably it helps to engage the subject. You see here that when the subject is engaged, the small dogs move to the city and visit all the monuments, and at the end, it can change town, capital, okay, and go in another place. So doing that, there is a stimulation and engagement of the subject in doing something that we have prescribed at the beginning of the study. The DOREMI trial was preceded by a long experimental phase mainly focused on the development of the wristband. I told you that the wristband was completely developed into the project and is able to localize the subject whenever he's going outdoor, to calculate the walking distance by the step counting, and mainly to measure heart rate. So we validate this measurement. Sorry, let me go back. We validate this measurement by a gold standard Garmin chest band, and this is our wristband during a measurement of heart rate with different range during exercise. So we are pretty confident that what we see here is well correlated with a gold standard of measurement of heart rate. And doing that, we need also to correlate the heart rate with any information in energy expenditure. You see here our virtual trainer that is into the exercise game, and one end user target of DOREMI that is repeating this exercise. It has two DOREMI bracelets, one commercial bracelet, this saturimeter, and the most advanced instrument for metabolic measurement, wearable instrument that is COSMET 5. This information are transmitted to a station simultaneously with heart rate and other parameters that we collect during the 21 exercise. At the end and on the top of the exercise, we have this test, you know quite well, is chair sit-to-stand test that is a part of the short physical performance battery, a test that is useful for categorizing frailty in older people, okay? And you see here that for the total exercise, 21 plus the last one, auto test, we have heart rate and metabolimeter information that provide a measurement of kilocalorie consumption during this physical activity. From this study in a population before the trial that is target of DOREMI, we have a very nice relationship between heart rate and metabolic consumption, determined as a kilocalorie per minute. You see as the basal situation, and here are the 21 exercise. So there is a nice correlation between heart rate measured by our bracelet and the COSMET 5 metabolimeter. And look at this point, I think that is useful. This is the CSST test. It's the most demanding test, so I realize as a cardiologist why this test is very useful to understand frailty in this subject, because for this test, there is the highest energy request, okay, with the highest blood heart rate increase respect to the baseline. So we use this parameter, and we originally developed an algorithm, in the DOREMI algorithm, to calculate daily caloric consumption, which is the sum of these parameters. One of these is the basal metabolic rate, defined by a measurement by bioimpedantiometric vector analysis, thermogenesis, the indoor physical activity energy expenditure, calculated by the relationship that I show you, the outdoor that was calculated by a different relationship taken from a walking test in this subject. And finally, DRAM is a daily routine activity energy expenditure that was calculated from the equation that I showed you before. Okay? So using this, I think we have a nice information on energy expenditure during daily activity in this subject that can match with the intake by meal, by diet. Where we are now, at the third year, we start in January the clinical trial in United Kingdom, in retirement village, just a small population, not like a new age, completely different approach, because we had a lot of things to do in few people, but we follow this patient, this subject, every day by the gateway and the information that are come from the apartment and outdoor, okay? So this is the experimental set that we use in this population. You see our wireless sensor network into the apartment. We have a balance board that measure weight and balance of the subject every day, okay, and transmit this information remotely to us at 1,500 kilometers far. The bracelet for heart rate localization, the exergame to activate physical activity with specific protocol in our subject, the dietary application to monitor the diet habit fast, but to transmit the suggestion, the correction of the food by our expert in a remote way, and finally the cognitive games. All this information start with a monitoring of our subject that lasts 15 days. After monitoring, to measure baseline condition and habits of the subject, indoor and outdoor, we train, personally train. I trained Franca, my wife, she is my wife, trained from the dietary aspect this population. Okay, for 15 days we stay with them in the UK, and we will go tomorrow again to finish the study. And at the end of this period, we left the subject with the tools, hoping that they are able to use in a right way. And this is the intervention phase that is lasting 2 months and will close in the UK tomorrow. Then we will move all this stuff from United Kingdom to Italy to repeat the study in a similar population, but with different dietary habits. So this is the phase that we are facing now. All this information go to a reasoning system with the rules that we develop as a doctors, okay? They analyze the information and they transmit to a system, to a doctor that confirm or modify the situation according to the adherence that the user had with this request of protocols. Okay? If it's confirmed, the intervention gone without any changes. If we have to change by the tablet, we suggest changes in diet or increase in exercise because there is imbalance. If everything is followed correctly, we hope so, it might be that will be an improvement after the DOREMI solution. We don't know yet, but we are in progress to understand this aspect. I stop here and I ask Franca to complete my presentation, giving some highlight on diet and possible connection with a New Age project. Franca.
Thank you. So, thanks to the presentation of Professor Parodi, you entered inside the DOREMI environment, testing some of the ICT application in order to control cognitive decline and in order to control malnutrition and sedentariness. At first, I would like to say that in DOREMI, when we talk about malnutrition, we talk about malnutrition for excess, I mean tending to obesity. For defect, I mean tending to an important underweight. I mean tending to balance the correct apport of micro and macronutrients. And last but not least, the level of hydration that, especially in the elderly people, is at the top of our interest as nutritionists. When we talk about sedentariness, we simply want to monitor and correct the indoor physical activity, the simple one like climbing stairs, and the outdoor activity of our users. Concerning to the New Age protocol, we entered the standard Mediterranean diet pyramid and linked with the European pyramid of physical activity, especially targeted for the over 65 people, in order to link them together with an ICT solution to collect, correct, and trying to suggest to our end user a personalized guidelines on diet linked to physical activity for an healthy aging over 65. I really don't know if at this moment, as Professor Parodi told you before, we have got our trial that's going on nowadays in the United Kingdom. And I really don't know if at the end of the first part of our trial, we will be able to correct such unhealthy dietary habits, like unfortunately in the United Kingdom we have, translating to the healthy eating according to the New Age protocol. But unexpected result at this moment is the compliance with the ICT solution that help DOREMI in the in collection, in the correction, and in the transmission of the correct diet. In fact, our users has got to do during the week an input with a photo diary in their tablet. And this photo diary, a daily photo diary, go to our nutritional team in Italy. Our nutritional teams has got the duty of examining the diary to correct according to the Mediterranean diet and the New Age protocol, and to transmit again to our end user all the correction of the dietary habits in order to stimulate and involve them in following the Mediterranean diet. At this moment, one of the unexpected results is the happiness of our users to use an ICT solution that for us really at this moment was really a big surprise. And the other item important of this dietary loop is that they use during the week, several days. We told them maybe 2 or 3 days during the week, but we actually see that they use it more because they want to know which are the things that they've got to correct in their dietary daily habits. Like as this, if this loop can be for them the solution for trying to learn exactly how to invest in their dietary habits. And this for us is really a big, big surprise. The future of DOREMI, we really hope will be strictly joined to the future of the new age. And what are we going to work on at this moment? I showed you before two separate pyramids, the nutritional one, and the physical activity one. And we are trying for the future, obviously using an ICT solution as the DOREMI project teaches us at this moment, a three-dimensional pyramids in which on one side of the pyramids we will put the personalized healthy diet according to the New Age protocol with the important concept of inflammaging. And I personally thanks Professor Franceschi as nutritionist to introduce this concept in the nutrition. Really, thank you. On the other side of our three-dimensional pyramids, according to the DOREMI physical active protocol, we would like to introduce the personalized physical exercises dedicated to our elderly people. On the third side of this pyramid, we would like to put all the personalized medical advices according to single pathology or to many comorbidities several times present in the elderly life. The hidden side of this three-dimensional pyramid is the place of the ICT solution. In fact, all the data, all the assessment will be collected on this hidden part of the pyramid, processing in order to give us all together a personalized global protocol with a smart usability for over 65. And not only dedicated to the over 65 people, but we will talk in another time. If we open this pyramid, we see that the hidden side of the pyramid is something like a big cloud, an interactive cloud, in which, according to the privacy of, obviously, not only the data of the single user can find a place, but it may become a big database in which we can elaborate with the utilization of a smart application, like the one we are using now in the DOREMI trial. We can give directly to our end user a personalized smart advice for active aging. This is what we are working now. And the future, our expectance of the future. Thanks to the DOREMI, here all these smiling ladies are the female group of our end user in the DOREMI trial, in St. Crispin, in one of the two villages that we are doing this in the United Kingdom. And as you see, they are all together, improving social inclusion. They are smiling. They've got their tablet, and maybe you cannot believe that several of these end users enrolled in the trial. It was the first time for them the use of the tablet, really. And now they can use tablet like maybe better than me, really, really. And the future, thanks to the DOREMI capability and experiences in monitoring capability and gamification, and thanks to the great work of New Age in nutrition, linking biomarkers and the concept of inflammaging, our aim maybe it will be to join together a commitment of the European Innovation Partnership for Active and Healthy Aging, just for continue our collaboration. Thanks really.